hello, and welcome back, everyone. I know I said I was getting tired of this very boring and drawl debate because I think anyone with any kind of rationality should know better than this. But I decided to do it anyway because, I don't know, I got called a cultural Marxist. So, I mean, I've looked up cultural Marxism before, and it doesn't seem like it's really that much of a real word with any kind of real thing attached to it, but I got curious, and so I really wanted to know more in depth and in detail what cultural Marxism is about. And it sounds like a conspiracy theory. But I found an article about it. You probably won't like the article. Well, specific people won't like the article because it doesn't suit their narrative. But we're going to read the article together. Take it away, Jinx. So here's the thing on cultural Marxism, what this particular thing has to say. It refers to one of two things. First, extremely rarely in popular discourse, cultural Marxism, lowercase c, upper M, refers to a strain of critique of popular culture by the Frankfurt School, framing such culture as being imposed by a capitalist culture industry and consumed passively by the masses. Second, in common usage in the wild, cultural Marxism, both uppercase, is a common snarl word used to paint anyone with progressive tendencies as a secret communist. The term alludes to a conspiracy theory in which the sinister left-wingers have infiltrated media, academia, and science, and are engaged in a decades-long plot to undermine Western culture. Some variants of the conspiracy allege that basically all of modern social liberalism is in fact a communist front group. The conspiracy theory hinges on the idea that the Frankfurt School wasn't just an arcane strain of academic criticism. Instead, the Frankfurt School was behind an ongoing Marxist plot to destroy the capitalist West from within, spreading its tentacles throughout academia and indoctrinating students to hate patriotism and freedom. Thus, rock and roll, 1960s counterculture, the civil rights movement and anti-war movement, homosexuality, modern feminism, and in general, the quote-unquote decay in the West since the 1950s are allegedly products of the Frankfurt School. It's also the work of the Jews. The conspiracist usage originated in Nazi Germany, where cultural Bolshevism was used to abuse political opponents, in particular Jews, purportedly were secretly orchestrating the spread of communism, Jewish Bolshevism, as well as promoting sexual and gender permissiveness, sexual Bolshevism. If anyone rants about cultural Marxists taking over culture, feel free to remind them that they are spouting literal Nazi propaganda updated for the modern era. We got all this interesting stuff about Nazi Germany. We got stuff about the Frankfurt School, the origin. Communism and capitalism are not two sides of the same coin. That's stupid. A lot of interesting things. I will leave the link to this in the description below. All right. Here we go. So after that explanation of cultural Marxism, like I said, it's not very well defined, but what it sounds like to me is that you think that I'm some kind of liberal that's been indoctrinated by communism to try and completely destroy the West, even though the left is waking up to this rhetoric and calling out social justice warriors and socialists and communists, even people like Bill Maher. I don't want to destroy the Western civilization. I am not a communist. I like Western civilization. I like living in it. I think it's like the people come to Western civilizations because we have more freedom in them than dictatorships. So, but it seems to be that if you're left of any kind, you might be a communist. Then what about the leftists that are, coming out against the alt-left? Like Bill Maher, which is like right here. I have a clip.
Yes. You hear that, Bernie and Elizabeth and Beto and the rest of them? They got nowhere else to go. So you can stop wearing your most divisive issues on your sleeve. Target sells condoms and lube, but they don't call it the condom and lube store. They hide that shit in the back in a locked case and call themselves Target. Which, frankly, is not much better. Point is, instead of trying to make the people on the far left double dog like you, make some good people in the middle not hate you. People talk a lot in this country about identity politics. Here's some identity for you. Only 46% of Democrats identify as liberals. Yeah, life doesn't end east of La Brea. Beto O'Rourke wants to tax churches. So do I, but I'm not running for president. Beto wants to take away the tax-exempt status of any church that opposes gay marriage, a position I doubt goes down well among black churchgoers, and try winning as a Democrat without them. I'm sure Tyler Perry would vote for Beto. I'm not so sure about Medea. I'm not sure why Kamala Harris felt the need to start off a recent town hall by saying my pronouns are she, her, and hers, as opposed to Trump's, which are me, myself, and I. Now, for some, I guess that makes her the Rosa Parks of pronouns, but there's a much larger group thinking, why is this important? Why in the first debate did Julian Castro feel the need to take a brave stand in favor of trans female abortion rights? Trans females can't even get pregnant. They don't have a uterus unless they're in prison and Elizabeth Warren buys them one. This should be easy. Just be less crazy than Donald Trump. Are you guys seriously struggling with this? 69% of voters say they dislike Trump personally, and there's no sign anything can change their minds. But Democrats' reaction to that is, okay, but let's try. Let me help you. You don't need to be 100% Twitter approved on every issue. Twitter is not America. Most of America, all they want is to vote for someone who's not weird. Play to them and stop worrying that you're going to lose social justice warriors to Donald Trump. What is it again, Richard Gere? I got nowhere else to go!
Just to let you know, I will have links to all of these in the description below, and you can go and you can look at them for yourself. All right, but also along with the left here in the United States basically saying SJWs and people who are playing the identity politics game are not very popular, like in mainstream. And that's the way it really ought to be. I mean, like, I think you have the freedom to be a fascist or a communist or an anarchist or a nihilist or whatever. It's just the thing is, like, from my political perspectives, like, I don't want to overthrow the West. I don't want to take down the Western government. And what I don't think I don't think most people are understanding here is that the anti-authoritarian left, as long as you haven't gone all the way into the anarchy field, is pretty much against any kind of regime of authoritarianism. In fact, that's kind of where I learned what the 3 arrows stands for. It's an arrow against fascism, an arrow against communism and an arrow against the British royal monarchy. So what do you know about that? In fact, I found a clip. I'll play a clip from another YouTuber. I found it intriguing. I want you to see, because I need you to know this. You need to know this. You need to stop acting weird, I think, or I think it would be in your best interest. How about that? Whatever you do is up to you. I can't make you do anything. But I think it would be in your best interest to learn these things. So let's show the clip about the 3 arrows, shall we?
The opposite of fascism is not communism, it's democracy and the ability to disagree. To take away that is fascism by any name or color. Disagreeing with what one has to say but defending to death their right to say it is the foundation of democracy. The act of recognizing their right to disagree and being willing to defend that right is the process by which the social contract is granted legitimacy. Liberal values are more beautiful because they include the freedom to disregard those principles and embrace fascism if one so chooses. If conformity has to be achieved at the end of a gun, and the ideas one conforms to lack any meaningful legitimacy. If communism could be achieved democratically, it would be achieved democratically. That they can't win by ballot is why communists fancy themselves as revolutionaries. Bad ideas have consequences, and those consequences are measured in human lives. The reason I open declaring the value in disagreement is because we live in a world where people today would strip that freedom away from you if they had such an opportunity to do so. It is not just fascists who wish to do this. This sort of a world has existed before, and the Soviet Union was no stranger to using violence to force conformity. Polish prisoners of war, for example.
Or is it that you guys are trying to be present on anything in the middle ground? Because as long as it perpetuates people to the alt-right, then it's okay. But if it doesn't perpetuate people to the, or persuade people to the alt-right, or worse, if it persuades people to the alt-left, then we have to thought police that shit. Are you trying to be present on the YouTube channels to make sure they're following orders and pushing people to the alt-right? Because the alt-right is a gateway to the alt-right. In fact, we found some conversation about this in a live stream with some more well-known YouTubers. Let's have a look.
Mean? Does it mean 98% on but not gun-ho? What does it mean, Justin?
I think it means that he's one of those people that PSC Stitch was describing earlier who shouldn't have any sort of societal power whatsoever. Sounds awful close to that.
Let's investigate.
Because as you probably have seen, there's a lot of people that want to slam that as wholly racist and totally offensive, and how dare anyone ever think of coming up with this idea of a white state. And in my opinion, I think it's okay. You know, it's okay to be white. I've certainly.
He crossed sentences there. He would say, in my opinion, it's okay to have a white state, but he crossed to it's okay to be white. What is this? Is this a boat in a stormy sea? What is this?
It's a modern Bailey if I ever saw one.
Yeah, it's the flashiest, fastest modern Bailey ever experienced. It's like
stand behind that term. In my opinion, I wouldn't say I'm as far as like a white identitarian. I'm definitely not as I don't know.
From associated violence. 80 people per year. Is this a genocide? I know, for somebody that doubts the Holocaust, that shouldn't be a hard question.
Mentioned by Lawrence Alden.
Oh yeah, I've seen her videos, and that is certainly terrible. I've prepped a few lines and stuff. I'm gonna make a video about that. But I guess if I don't want to I don't want to compare myself to Hollywood or anything like that. But that's kind of the way I see it now that we put it out there like this. It's just it's like an actor who has activist or political tendencies on the side, or maybe like a director that has.
Did you know No Bullshit is Susan Sarandon, but only for white nationalists?
The themes in their movie or something, but I guess I'm just not going as far because I'm not a politician or an activist. I don't think so.
I would ask, do you personally feel like it's
I don't think we will watch all of it. Could you entertain our viewers for a second so I can visit that dark place in the home? with the water mains. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Okay.
So hang on,
Yeah.
everybody. Bombard Justin with questions on the chat, and I will be right back.
Okay, so I'm wholly unprepared for this, but go ahead and ask some questions in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, Vincier Mori, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Yeah, at this particular juncture, we're talking about a particular YouTuber who is basically just admitting that he's a pathway for, or that he's a stepping stone towards very, very extreme views. I do think that you don't have to be a neo-Nazi or yourself or a white nationalist yourself, but if you push people along that pathway, even if you just pull them a little bit towards white nationalism, it's worth talking about, right? Because that's a problem. Even if you only hold just a few white nationalist-y beliefs, it's still a problem worth talking about, right? So he's a gateway for the weak-minded, and Antifa will be very much the same. Okay, let's grant, for the sake of the argument, let's grant that second one. Like Antifa is the gateway of the weak-minded left. Okay, how much of the population do you think is weak-minded, and is that a problem? Like, do you disagree? A lot of the his content geared towards younger people, like teenagers. There's not a whole lot of like serious older people watching his stuff, or at least I would be pretty confident in saying that. I don't know his actual channel, but he's not. He doesn't strike me as someone who's going.
All right. Just for shits and giggles, just for fun, why don't we watch Richard? I mean the alt-right. I mean Richard's, whoever you want, looking and acting like a hypocrite, but not only that, losing their fucking mind. Let's look at that, just for shits and giggles, just for the fuck of it. Here we go. I do remember that the alt-right has now dismissed Milo Yiannopoulos because I remember that conversation with that National Socialist. It doesn't matter. It's still, he loses his fucking shit. I mean, just like way out there in the fucking ether, like toys in the attic, like, oh my god, this is embarrassing. It's cringy as fuck, but we gotta show it. We gotta show it.
I think a new alt-right is emerging, and I think we saw it on full display, and it is going to be something very different than I had in mind, and it is not something I would ever want to be a part of. This vibe of kind of going back to religiosity, going back to kind of stuff that we've seen before, I don't find this as interesting. It's not really something that I would be, I'm just, if I were a total outsider to this, that I would be really excited to do. Or be a part of. There's clearly going to be a push to create this kind of energetic movement. I won't have anything to do with that. I've pretty much made that absolutely clear. Is Nick the right person to kind of lead the Zoomers? I'm not sure the Zoomers are voting, but whatever. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see. But there will be the construction of some kind of neo-alt-right that is basically all of its truly radical ideas are absolutely removed, and it becomes a kind of own the libs, middle finger to the Democratic Party, reliably Republican, edgy Trump-wearing kid movement. And absolutely. I don't think that is a good thing. And I will remain a critic because I need to remain authentic to myself.
We are coming back here like a fucking 100 times. I am so mad. I am so fucking mad at these people. They don't do this to fucking me. We're gonna fucking ritualistically humiliate them. I am coming back here every fucking weekend if I have to. Like, this is never over. I win. They fucking lose. That's how the world fucking works. Little fucking kites. They get ruled by people like me. Little fucking octoroons. My ancestors fucking enslaved those pieces of fucking shit. I rule the fucking world. Those pieces of shit get ruled by people like me. They look up and see a face like mine looking down at them. That's how the fucking world works. We are gonna destroy this fucking town.
After all of that, I know this is kind of playing more on a humor side of things, but in all seriousness, most liberals are not for communism. In fact, liberal means to be free, not controlled. But it's so funny to me. As I've mentioned before, I talked to people who, like my own father, who is a hippie, probably stands for everything, or a lot of things that the alt-right doesn't like. But they'd be quick to call him a communist, but he'll tell you that he was raised his entire life to know that communists were the bad guys. And when I talked to him, he listed off all these different dictators of communist regimes throughout the years, and not a single one of them were good. He was alive during the Cold War. I mean, he didn't have anything nice to say about communism. And he thinks it would be really funny that somebody would call me a cultural Marxist because I have no means, no desire whatsoever to control people on the level that communists and fascists and monarchies and theocracies have before. Why would we want to repeat these things that people have rebelled against time and time again, trying to urge and get their freedom? We want to be free. I've pointed this out before. When we look for a system, we're not looking for a system that is authoritarian. Once it becomes too authoritarian, we rebel. What we look for in a system is a system that upholds justice through due process, with facts and evidence. Not authoritarianism, not thought policing. No. Capitalism is not part of communism. It's not at all. Nor is it really a part of fascism. Capitalism works in a democracy because it's not a form of dictatorship. It's a means of commodity and commerce. It doesn't have to be won by the gun. So, there's always this.
What is this unholy abomination?
Hi, Clara. You're just in time to witness a fake gay marriage for the health insurance.
If gays get married, the institution of marriage will be destroyed. Societies will crumble. Rivers will run with blood. Nazis will once again ride on dinosaurs.
I think we all know someone like that, don't we? Yes, we do. We all know somebody who's a Christian zealot that acts completely insane just because two people of the same gender got married. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. And hit the bell button on any channel you're subscribed to. And, with that, I'm out.
Found the door, and I feel good.